a few awesome panelists here tonight. We're going to have some great discussions. I want to just hand things over to Jeremy and then Lauren to just say a little bit about the space we're in these times in the gallery.
Hi everyone. I'll be brief because you didn't come here to listen to me. My name is Jeremy Gantz. I'm an editor here at In These Times. We're a monthly progressive magazine published here, but we're national. I'm very excited about tonight because I think my greatest regret of the year is not going to Madison while it was all going down. And a big reason I was doing that is because I was here working as an editor, managing our coverage, publishing stories about what was happening for our labor blogs, working in these times. One contributor of which is Mr. Micah Uetricht here. Hi, Mike. So I just want to let you all know about, if you care about the labor movement, and you care about things like what happened in Madison and the future of unions, you should check out In These Times and our blog, Working in These Times. And that's all I want to say. Thanks for coming.
My name's Lauren Cumbia, and I just wanted to give you a quick kind of intro on the space that you were actually in. So Daniel Tucker and I started a gallery space here last year called Art in These Times, and this show, Wisconsin Rise Up, opened in, I think, late June, and we're some of you were there, and we thought this was a great opportunity for more people to see the exhibit, and also, you know, it's such a great match with Erica's book, and we're really excited to be part of this. And the exhibit will be up till through the fall, so if you have any friends who want to see it, just get in touch with us and we can kind of arrange that. So, thank you.
Thank you guys both so much. This is just the perfect space for this event, so it's awesome to be here. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I decided to do this book and kind of the process and what it is. I have been working in Democratic politics in D.C. For 4 years until I left this winter. I was working for Nancy Pelosi and then the Democratic Party, doing the media and online organizing. And after the midterms, I kind of, and like many people working in Democratic politics, was kind of frustrated, just also ready to leave D.C., but frustrated with the Democratic Party as well, even though I was working there, that it was just sort of not standing up for progressive values or being kind of what I wanted it to be. So I left and I traveled and I ended up being in London for about a month and a half when they were sort of getting ready for these really big, massive protests there, this march. They had this 500,000 people in the streets in March 26th for this big anti-cuts, anti-austerity protest there. And so I became friends with this group of activists, journalists who were organizing around that. Leading up to it, I just went with them to a lot of teach-ins, a lot of different events. And we were all just sort of fascinated by what was happening in Wisconsin. We did a Skype video conference call, this room of 100 London activists did this video conference call with activists in Madison. And we watched the YouTube video of Tony Schultz, the farmer and activist who spoke in front of the Wisconsin Capitol. And just, captivated by it and also sort of feeling this really intense connection between movements there and in London, and also there was a young woman from Egypt who was there who was speaking at a lot of these conferences and different events. So that was really exciting to see. And one thing that the folks I met there did was put together this book. It's called Fight Back, A Reader on the Winter Protest, which was about the protests, the student protests that had happened in London this winter. When high school kids and just kind of took to the streets in a really new kind of way, and college students were having occupations at their universities, and so they did this book that was an ebook and a printed book that really captured a lot of that spirit of those protests and of that movement. So when I came back, I hadn't been in Wisconsin, but had sort of been following it and thought that this would be great to do kind of a similar project around telling that story. So I went to Madison and started kind of meeting people there and spending time there, and kind of in a way just kind of making it into a story that I was part of too, even though I hadn't really been there. But just wanted to kind of keep telling that story and spreading that momentum and figuring out a way to continue it, beyond what had happened this winter. So that's how this book came about. It's been something I've worked on for the past 5 months or so. I'm really excited to see it out in the world protest coverage with some after-the-fact reflections, because I think so much of the coverage was on Twitter and was online, and that was the way people experienced it, and that was a really exciting way to experience it. So I wanted to capture a lot of that. The book has a lot of tweets, has sort of a different Twitter narrative in it, and also some kind of newer reflections. So I think it's like you hear so much while the protests are happening, but then there's sort of a void, between when a book or other things come out on it, months or years later. So that was what I was trying to do with this collection. I'm excited to have you guys read it and check it out, and I think also kind of use it as a jumping off point to talk about what's next in Wisconsin, talk about what's next for a larger movement. So hopefully we can have some discussion. We got a great group of panelists here tonight. I'm going to have them kind of give an intro statement and then ask a few follow-up questions, but then open it up to do some Q&A discussion with you guys. So with that, I'm going to introduce these guys. This is Dan Wang. He is a Madison and Chicago artist activist. He teaches at Columbia College, and they can tell you more about themselves. I'm just going to give you the highlights. They all gave me very long, extensive, impressive bios. I'm forgetting all of it now. And he actually, in the book, he authored one piece and co-authored another. One's about Madison, sort of the unique character of Madison. Another's about the strike moment, or sort of the lost strike moment that happened this winter. And that was, you may have read it, it was widely circulated kind of around the protests. So welcome. Micah Uetricht is, in these times, contributor, writes also for Vapors Block and Campus Progress, and he's an organizer with Arise Chicago. And he, in the book, a lot of his tweets are featured. So he was sort of driving back and forth between Madison and Chicago and tweeting and telling the story that way. And this is Peter Rickman, who I finally met last week for recalls in Milwaukee. He's a graduate student and law student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, rank and file leader of the Teaching Assistants Association, the oldest graduate student union in the country. And they organized some of the marches and protests that led to the occupation of the Capitol. And he also currently now works for the Wisconsin AFL-CIO in Milwaukee. So, Jan, if you want to start things off. Again, I emailed these guys some questions, but basically I just asked them to kind of talk a little bit about who they are, introduce themselves, and talk about their experiences with the protests this winter, in a sense. They could just talk about what was happening